Congressman Mike McCaul is here with horrifying news. He says Mexican cartel members are trying to kill U.S. agents, and it does get worse. The planned killings are to occur on U.S. soil. He says it is time to fight the war with Mexico like we did with Colombia, and he's taking it up with Congress, pushing to label 6 cartels as terrorists. Texas Congressman Mike McCaul joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
Thanks, Greta. Good to be here.
I should add, before you sat down, explain to me that you are a former federal prosecutor, so you're a tough-on-crime type guy.
I think so.
All right,
law enforcement guy.
All right, so tell me, you want to name? Why do you want to name the cartels terrorists?
Well, because they are. I mean, you look at what they're doing in Mexico. They're not only the tactics, beheadings, burning people alive, political assassinations. But also, when you look at the definition of terrorism under Black's law, basically to coerce a government by assassination or kidnapping, that really, I think, squarely defines the drug cartels. And it's getting so out of control that by defining them as a foreign terrorist organization, we have a lot more tools and ammunition to not only prosecute them, but deport them from the United States.
Do you have actual information they're trying to kill our agents on our soil?
Yes, there have been several warnings, threats out there, specifically with our border sheriffs, information that our law enforcement has, that not only did they brutally kill Agent Zapata down in Mexico and wound Agent Avila in that horrible ambush, but now the fact that they're looking at U.S. law enforcement in the United States and Texas Rangers and targeting them is a real game changer. I mean, they're really changing the rules of the game. They did not go after federal law, our guys in Mexico.
We've been doing this story almost every night for 2.5 years, and we've traveled there with Secretary of State Clinton, and it's just beyond me. I mean, they were targeting judges in Mexico, prosecutors in Mexico. They're getting kids, they're beheading people, rolling heads across floors and bars to intimidate people, and it was inevitable. We've been saying almost every night, this is coming here. You can't have a country that close, and where the market is here for what they're trying to trade or sell. It was going to come here, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why we just sort of do so little. Well,
and they talk, there's no spillover violence, but there's spillover crime here in the United States.
Drugs are violence.
There were 450 cartel associates picked up after the Zapata killing. They're here in the United States, and it's just a matter of time before that spillover crime becomes spillover violence. And we are seeing a lot of it in border states already. But I think the focus of the hearing was, what are we doing in Mexico? I asked, what is the plan and the strategy to help Mexico win this war against the drug cartels? And the answer was astonishing. They couldn't answer the question.
Well, the crack that shows up in Chicago that leads to a murder originated probably in Mexico. So to say that there's no violence spilling over is absurd. What does the administration say to you when you say, let's step it up?
They say that it's never been more secure, that we're already doing enough, and that there's no spillover violence.
And 35,000 deaths since 2006 just from drug cartel violence.
I don't know what kind of world they're living in, and I've been pressing the administration to step it up, not only with our operations in Mexico. I think what we did in Colombia was very successful in terms of a joint intelligence, joint military operation, that if we could pull that off in Mexico, could get to the root cause of the problem.
What's the opposition to that?
Well, political. There's not the political will either by this administration or the government in Mexico. But at some point, they're going to have to say, look, if we're going to help you guys out, let us help you. Don't put one hand behind our backs, and let our guys be armed down there, too.
And let's face it, we know it's coming, so there's going to be a lot of blood on people's hands if they do nothing. I mean, it's one thing if you try reasonable steps and it still happens, but if you look the other way and ignore it, and it does happen, you got blood on your hands.
We can't afford to have a failed state in Mexico become a haven for terrorists. So not only in Mexico, but on this side of the border, we've got to ramp up our resources.
I agree with indeed, but I don't know what it's going to take. Congressman,
come down to Texas to the border.
I've been there a couple times, but I'll come down again.
Congressman Cuellar, and the Governor Perry. We'd love to have you down there.
Thank you very much, Congressman.
Thank you. Appreciate
Coming up, former President George W. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush go